Dick died in November. In February, I fell apart.
Heaviness just came over me where I just started weeping uncontrollably.
And it's like your whole world fell apart. It seemed like my God put the pause button on in my life.
I just wanted to stay by myself. I didn't want to do anything.
And I just started to lose it, but it was like, well, I can't lose it because I'm the Christian one here, and if I lose it, it'll be a bad testimony.
You can't remember things, and the simple things like, where you put your car keys. Did you turn something off? Did you turn something on? Did you cry about this already? You seem like I cried earlier today.
And you go outside and you look around and you wonder why the whole world just doesn't stop for this period of time. People are still going to Disneyland and eating ice cream cones, and don't they know what horrific thing has gone on?
One day, someone you love will die. When this happens, you'll likely experience more pain than you've ever imagined. I'm Zig Ziglar. Burying my daughter was painful, and it taught me this. When you're grieving, it's not the time to be strong, it's the time to be human. That's why I needed people who would listen to me, care for me, and point me to the comfort that only God offers. And if you or someone you know is grieving, you need the same.
I think one of the major difficulties that I've seen over the years with people in grief is that we live in a culture that does not talk about loss or grief. People are unaware of it. And then all of a sudden they're plunged into it. And at the time where they are at the most vulnerable point of their life, the most vulnerable place, intense pain, they also have to learn about the reality of what grief is. And many people think, basically, I'm going crazy. What is this happening to me? I'm going over the edge. They're going to lock me up. But if we know ahead of time, this is grief, this is what to expect, then we can realize, I'm not going crazy. I just have to go through this experience. There's a fog inside of our brain, as it were. And you'll be talking to somebody, and all of a sudden in the middle of your discussion, it's like, what was I talking about? You're not as sharp. This is why we tell people, be careful when you're driving, because this is a time of your life when you're most likely to get a ticket or have an accident. And I'll say, have you ever been driving and you don't remember the last 10 blocks? And they say, oh my goodness, yes. It's like, I woke up down here and I wonder, what happened in the last 10 blocks? And that's happened to me as well. And so we're not as sharp. As I work with high school kids who have been through tragedies, I have to talk to the teachers about lower your expectations when it comes to the grading. They're not going to be remembering. I remember one young man that talked to me after a shooting in the high school. He said, I knew all this material before the shooting. Now I go back and it's like, I've never seen it before. What happened to my brain? It's like it just wiped it out. And this is what grief does to us. I think for me, grief work is the process of looking at my grief and facing the fact that I am in grief, and there are going to be certain tasks that I'm going to need to engage in. I'll give you an example of this. In the death of a spouse, people will say, oh, they lost their husband or they lost their wife. That is the primary loss. But you have a whole list of what we call secondary losses. Lost a confidant, an errand runner, somebody who took the trash out, somebody who took care of the bills. You're going to lose your couple friends. It goes on from there, and there's usually about 20 to 30 secondary losses. If we identify those and we know those in advance, then we're not going to be ambushed as much. We'll realize, okay, this is another loss that I'm going to need to grieve over.